We started with 30, now we're down to 10. In the next hour, there'll be just one. Here in Malta, we're going to crown the world's strongest man.
There are 10 finalists. They'll be competing over 7 events, but only one of them will be the strongest man in the world. They start with a huge weight on their shoulders. The deadlift's even worse. Then there's 5 massive stones, from slipway to runway, a boat and a plane, then a simply huge log, and finally everything but the kitchen sink. They all deserve a medal, but only one man will lift the Metrex trophy. The 10 finalists: Magnus Samuelsson, defending champion, the giant Swede. Jamie Barr, the canny Scot, the only British competitor in the final. Jouko Ahola, the world's strongest man in 1997, can he do it again? Rene Minkwitz from Denmark, his first time in the competition, and he's made it to the final. Janne Virtanen, hugely impressive in the heats. He won 5 out of 6 disciplines, another Finn. Svend Karlsen from Norway. He was leading World's Strongest Man in '97 until he got injured. Hugo Girard, one of the youngest men in the final, a world champion surely, if not now, then in the future. Torfi Olafsson, the gentle giant. There aren't many glaciers as big as him in Iceland. Berend Veneberg, disappointing in last year's final, looking to do better this time. And finally, the oldest man in the competition, Laszlo Fekete from Hungary. If not this year, then probably never. A nice gentle breeze down at the harbour and a nice gentle start. Commentator Paul Dickinson.
2 heats of 5 down at the harbour, and I have to say, this could be the toughest of both. The best time overall is going to win. Will it be Hugo Girard, one of the heaviest men in this final, 330 pounds? Berend Veneberg in the final once again, so dominant in his heat. Another brilliant Finnish competitor, Janne Virtanen, 2 meters tall.
Magnus Samuelsson.
The defending world's strongest man champion, Magnus Samuelsson of Sweden. One of his fiercest rivals, the former champion, Jouko Ahola.
Under the yoke. Left.
This weighs 800 pounds, and away we go. World's strongest man final is on the way, and Virtanen is leading. Samuelsson, the champion, about a metre behind. Then it's Jouko Ahola. The rest are struggling just a little bit at the moment. Jouko Ahola is coming through. Virtanen is going to finish in second. Samuelsson third. But it all depends on the clock. There's one more heat to go. A cracking time by Jouko Ahola. 21.34 seconds. And Hugo Girard finished very quickly, finishing ahead of Magnus Samuelsson. That's a big surprise. Berend Veneberg had all sorts of problems down at the start. He'll be very disappointed with his time. But now the other 5 competitors have all got to go for that time set by this man, Jouko Ahola, the former champion.
You were almost running at the end.
Yes, because there was only 5 meters or 3 meters left. And if you run, you can still keep it. But if you do it after 10 meters, It's definitely drop.
Good start, though.
Thank you.
Well, Jouko Ahola playing it down as always. There's a long way to go in this final.
From Hungary, Laszlo Fekete.
Laszlo Fekete, the great rock lifter from Hungary. Jamie Barr from Scotland from Fife, his first ever World's Strongest Man final.
Iceland, Torfi Olafsson.
Icelandic strongmen have always been brilliant in World's Strongest Man. That is Torfi Olafsson, and Rene Minkwitz, a big surprise in his heat with Jouko Ahola.
Svend Karlsen.
Svend Karlsen back after a 1-year gap and looking brilliant.
Just how heavy does that feel on your... Is that going to feel?
It's 3 times my body weight, so it's like running down 30 metres with 3 of me.
So you're really looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, immensely. Getting crushed. I'm looking forward to being crushed.
And Jamie Barr sounding a little bit nervous. He is the lightest man in this final. That may be a disadvantage after 7 events, and away we go. Svend Karlsen already in the lead. The Norwegian going well. Minkwitz has gone down, and that is a big problem for the Dane. He looks as though he's hurt himself. But look at this, Svend Karlsen absolutely flying. 21.34 to beat. It's going to be very close. He's miles ahead of the rest. He's done it. He's beaten Jouko Ahola 20.12. Olafsson, well, he's going along at a crawl at the moment in second. Jamie Barr is just behind him. And on the far side, Laszlo Fekete has come to a grinding halt as well. Olafsson struggling, but the Icelandic man will finish second in this heat. It's a long way down overall, and Jamie Barr has stopped too. What a performance by Karlsen.
And quicker than Ahola. Were you expecting that?
Actually, yes.
You actually expected to win that event?
Yeah.
Because?
If there was one event I could win, it must be the yoke.
Pretty impressive. Viking power at its best?
Now, we're going to get rolling, for sure.
So Viking power and victory to Norway. Karlsen taking the 10 points ahead of Ahola. A disappointing start for Samuelsson, just 5th place.
The ruins of Hajar-Eam are 5,000 years old, and this next event is real caveman stuff, brute force. The lift starts at 600 pounds, that's 44 stone, and gets progressively heavier until nobody can lift it anymore.
The first man to go, Laszlo Fekete, called it quits at 300 kilograms. Next up, Jamie Barr of Scotland, and he was quite happy with 320. Torfi Olafsson, perhaps disappointed that he could only manage the same amount. Next, the giant Finn, Janne Virtanen, just the 320 for him too. And here's Hugo Girard of Canada, also stuck on the 320 mark.
The defending champion disappointed by his performance in the first event, now going for 340 kilograms, which would put him ahead of all those men we've seen so far. He's never been that good at lifting weights off the floor only because of his immense height. He's got much further to lift it than everybody else. He's got it above the knees. He needs to lock out, though. This is like lifting 2 Torfi Olafssons. 340 kilos, he's off balance. Oh, Dougie Edmonds says no.
No left.
Samuelsson didn't lock his hips out. He's out of this second event and looking perplexed, and perhaps his inquest into why he failed will go on for some time. Jouko Ahola, the bar has now moved up to 370 kilos. Only 3 men left in the competition, himself, Veneberg and Karlsen.
370 kilos.
All these 3 men are tremendous weightlifters, and this is as close as we're going to get to a weightlifting competition in this final. Ahola in those little ballet shoes just to get a little bit of extra grip. Oh, it's so easy. A brilliant lift by the Finn, and that will put pressure on both Karlsen and Veneberg. 370 kilograms as well for Berend Veneberg. It's hard to describe what 370 kilograms feels like it, but imagine those stones being replaced by a giant motorbike at each end of the bar. Incredible. This to draw level with Jouko Ahola. He's shaking, my goodness. He's got it. Veneberg stays in the competition, and Karlsen, believe it or not, has passed this weight. He wants to go even higher.
Yes.
Tremendous effort by the Dutchman. Svend Karlsen now coming into the competition with a huge weight of 375 kilos. Only 5 kilograms more than the other two, but it could make a big difference in terms of the overall point score. Squats down, the back straining, the neck is straining. Can he hang on to the bar? He's done it.
Good lift.
Good lift, says Dougie Edmonds. And Karlsen is absolutely delighted.
380
The new weight at 380 kilograms for Jouko Ahola, and if he's successful, it means that Veneberg and Karlsen have got to lift even more to beat the Finn. He hardly bends his legs. This is all on the back. The last bit moving so slowly, but he locks out, and Jouko Ahola has done it. That's one of the biggest weights lifted ever in the history of World's Strongest Man.
from Holland,
Berend Veneberg. He actually passed the opportunity to go for 380, wanted to see what Jouko Ahola could do.
In your own time, lift.
It would be incredible if the Dutchman could beat the great Ahola, who won World's Strongest Man 2 years ago. Oh, he couldn't even get it off the ground. Oh, dear me. A valiant effort, a very good competition for Veneberg. Well, this is the only man now who can beat Jouko Ahola. 385. 800 pounds plus. That is an immense weight for the deadlift. Oh, he's got it off the ground. No, he couldn't quite do it. The showman from Norway will have to settle for second place. Jouko Ahola takes maximum points. It was a brilliant competition.
I thought that I can pull a little bit more, but I'm very happy because I won.
Brain and brawn from Ahola, playing the tactical game and taking 10 points there ahead of Karlsen, Veneberg. And what it means is that Ahola and Karlsen now have a 5-point cushion over everybody else. For Ahola, he's 7 points clear of Samuelsson. Is that enough?
Legend has it that off the rocky coastline of Malta, St. Paul was shipwrecked in AD 36, leading him to convert the existing Roman population to Christianity. Well, at least that meant he didn't have to pull his boat up this slipway, which is what our remaining 9 strongmen are going to have to do now.
The man from Fife in Scotland, Jamie Barr, now takes on this huge boat. 300 kilograms they've got to pull up the slope.
Ready? Take the strain.
And I suppose the question everybody asks themselves when you see an event like this is, how on earth do you train for it? There's nothing in the gymnasium that represents pulling a boat up a slope like this. It's all down to sheer guts and determination. And Jamie's got off to a good start. Progress is slow, but a determined and long effort is what's required here. There's a terrific crowd. Now, come on, Jamie. He competed so well in Britain's Strongest Man, and you have to say now that having made it through to the final, he must be ranked #1 in the United Kingdom. Tremendous effort from Jamie Barr. Everybody watching here is shouting for Jamie. One more pull. He's got to get the front of the boat over the line, not just the frame. And Dougie Edmonds said, you've got to pull it over. And Jamie Barr is not best pleased, but those are the rules.
How hard was that then?
It wasn't too heavy, but starting to tire, the grip was starting to go towards the end. It wasn't too bad.
Is this predominantly arms, legs, back, or what?
It's everything you've got. As much legs and arms in it as you can. The more power you're putting on it, the harder you've got to squeeze the rope. And over a distance like that, your grip's going to tire.
Following Jamie Barr, next into bat, Laszlo Fekete, 57.88 for the giant Hungarian. Torfi Olafsson, 44.62, a good time from him, but beaten by 6/100ths of a second by Berend Veneberg of Holland.
From Finland, Janne Virtanen.
Virtanen has put up a very good display so far in the opening two events. He's down in third place, 5 points behind Svend Karlsen and Jouko Ahola. He's well equipped to do a fast time in this event. Oh, he just missed his grip there, though. He's got incredibly long arms and then pulls and leans back to pull that 300-kilogram boat up the slope, 660 pounds. Tremendous atmosphere here, and Janne Virtanen is really going for it. Nobody's broken 40 seconds yet, and Virtanen's only got about a couple of meters to go. Could he be the first? Yes, he can. That was a massive last pull, 33.81, and that is going to be very hard to beat indeed. A big puff of air, a fantastic effort.
From Canada, Hugo
The massive shoulders of Hugo Girard, the policeman from Canada. The first time he's ever encountered anything like this, I suspect.
Take the strain.
So Virtanen's lead, 33.81 the target. And talking to one or two people around the stadium here, what they've said is keep the rope tight, and I'm sure that's what Hugo Girard is trying to do. Not short pulls, but long and powerful. And that boat is really making progress up the hill. This is very fast indeed. Hugo Girard, who's down in 6th place overall after the first two events. Well, could he even break 30 seconds? He's just outside, but it is quick. He's in the lead, 32.27. A very cool customer indeed, and a real threat to everybody else in this event.
It wasn't easy, but I practiced it, so I knew I could do it well on that event, and my technique was good, so I made it look easy.
The Blue Grotto on the south side of the island, one of the most beautiful venues we've ever been to for World's Strongest Man. And there won't be any beauty about the way Magnus Samuelsson pulls this boat. It'll be all brute strength.
Ready? Take the strain.
Away we go. Now then, Samuelsson has been complaining of a back injury, and this could affect his performance here. Long pulls, though. Hands very close together, and that means that the weight is evenly distributed on both arms and those massive shoulders. He's making good progress, and he needs the points. Not his normal brilliant self over the first two events, but this is looking better. It's very fast. 32.27 to beat. One big pull's done it. Oh, tremendous by Samuelsson. His best event so far, 31.62. And the reigning strongest man goes into the lead. Svend Karlsen, first in event 1, second in event number 2.
From Norway, Svend Karlsen.
Looking in good shape and very, very confident indeed. And so he might. He's tied for number 1 position at the moment after 2 events with Jouko Ahola on 19 points. Well, he's seen what Samuelsson has done. And, of course, Hugo Girard, 2 very fast times. He's only just over 6 feet tall, Karlsen, so perhaps the length of lever not to his advantage. Now the time he's got to beat, 31.62 by Samuelsson. Girard 32.27 and Virtanen 33.81. They're all extremely fast. And the Norwegian, well, if he's to go ahead of Ahola, he's got to set a fast time. Ahola has yet to go in this event. One more pull does it. 35.88. He's down in 4th place, but still the great Finn has got to take his turn. Just shakes his head when he saw what the time was. Disappointed, but still not out of it. His first time outside of the top 2 in this year's final. Well, everybody waiting with bated breath to see what Jouko Ahola can do. The last man in this 3rd event, a World's Strongest Man final for 1999. And the one thing that Jouko Ahola always does so well is prepares himself mentally. He's been hiding away, keeping himself to himself. He'll have done his arithmetic in terms of what is required here. A little bit jerky, but so powerful. The main part of Jouko Ahola's strength is in his back, and he's using it to good effect here. Samuelsson's time of 31.62, I think it's going to be safe. But how close can Ahola get to Karlsen's 35.88? This could be Ahola's poorest performance so far as well. He's outside of the top 4, 36.20, and that means we're going to have a new overall leader.
And so a first victory for the defending champion Magnus Samuelsson. That's surely going to put him in a better frame of mind.
And you're still in there pitching, aren't you? You're still in there with a chance.
Let's see, now we have a 1 day's break, or like this afternoon free, so hopefully with some treatment I can be back in the business tomorrow again.
And after 3 events, a fascinating situation. Just 4 points separating the top 4 strongmen.
Now back at the final, 3 events gone, 4 to go. Next up it's the Atlas Stones. You know all about this. 5 massive boulders to be put on the wall, culminating this huge hammerhead of a stone, 160 kilograms. That's getting on for 27 stone.
This is my event, and I have to win it, because then I have still a chance to win a title back.
From your point of view, if shall we say Magnus is 4 behind, but Sven's only 1 behind, are you looking at Sven more than Magnus now?
Of course, he is very good with stones. He's very strong in playing pool. He's maybe strongest guy in final.
Well, Jamie Barr has already taken his attempt, 63.09 seconds to lift 2 stones. A disappointing performance for the Scot. So the next 2 we see, Laszlo Fekete of Hungary, a tremendous stone lifter, and Torfi Olafsson of Iceland. Well, we saw what Fekete did in the heats. He got off to a cracking start, and he's done it again. And one of very few people to actually lift that giant final stone, but Fekete, in fact, having a problem with the first. Olafsson on his shoulder almost dunked that one on top of the platform. Fekete catching up just a little bit on the left-hand side. And in fact, Fekete going really well now. It's Olafsson who's struggling. Still the massive stone of 160 kilos to go. That weighs 140. Now, can the Hungarian do it again? Number 4 for Olafsson. And he's done it just. A brilliant performance once again. 43.13. And there's blood all over the place. He bashed his face, he bashed his elbows, but he's done it. Olafsson's had enough. He concedes defeat on that giant 5th and final stone. But what a performance by Laszlo Fekete. Jouko Ahola strides out onto the platform with Berend Veneberg, the Dutchman lying in 6th place overall. He had a good performance in the heats on the stones too.
Jouko Ahola.
Well, you said what Jouko Ahola had to say in terms of this being his event.
Ready?
That remains to be seen, because it was a brilliant performance by Hungary and Laszlo Fekete. But look at the way Ahola gets away. Oh, Veneberg, a bit of a problem with the first stone. And the stone, in fact, has rolled off the platform over the back. Now, at some point during this competition, he's going to have to go around the back and retrieve it. I'm not even sure he knows that it's gone off the wall. Meanwhile, Jouko Ahola flying. Still going for that time of 43.13, and this is the final stone. He's faster than Fekete was with the fourth stone. Can he get the final stone up? He's done it many times before. No, it's slower. Just by a whisker. Hungary still have the lead. Ahola 43.65, half a second behind, and Veneberg has been told he's got to go and get the small stone. All the strong men knew what the rules were before this event started. And Veneberg looking a bit miffed about what's happened, but it's his own fault. But what about Jouko Ahola? A brilliant time in second place at the moment behind Laszlo Fekete.
Is that a bit disappointing for you? Come second?
Yes, yes. This is not my competition now. Bad luck yesterday, bad luck today. I don't know.
You seem to struggle with the fifth ball more than normal.
Yes, it was a little bit too sandy. It went forward and it's okay.
Just have to watch everybody else now.
Yeah.
The overall leader, Svend Karlsen of Norway, the first onto the platform, accompanied by Janne Virtanen of Finland. Virtanen, 22 points, 4 behind Karlsen and 3 behind Jouko Ahola, and in fact the Finn is equal on points with Samuelsson. Here we go. I suppose you have to say that Virtanen has an advantage in the fact he's about 6 inches taller than Svend Karlsen, but Karlsen is flying. Well, making these giant stone balls look like paperweights. Karlsen with number 3, gritting his teeth. Going so fast, he's almost faster than Ahola on this fourth. Now, can he get the fifth stone up? If he can, it would be a major achievement for him. I'm not sure whether he's ever done it before. He's certainly faster than everybody else, but I think he's running out of time. Virtanen struggling with that last one as well. And so many people have succeeded with 4, but the fifth has always been a problem. Virtanen gets it eventually. He's in third place in this event. Karlsen has blown it at the last attempt. Can you believe it? He was faster than everybody else, but 160 kilograms has beaten him. Janne Virtanen just being told of his time. It's very, very good indeed, but he's still behind Ahola and Fekete.
Is that a bad result for you, do you think?
Yeah, but it's not over. We still 3 events to go.
From Canada, Hugo Girard.
Hugo Girard, well, he really is becoming a revelation in this final. Much fancied to do well, but a big question mark about the form of the defending champion Magnus Samuelsson. How is his back going to affect his performance here?
Timetable. Ready?
He's got to get a good result here. He must get the 5 stones, and the times that have been set are absolutely fabulous. 43.13 by Laszlo Fekete. Girard there dropping the first stone. That's not good news for the Canadian. Ahola as well, 5 stones, 43.65, and Janne Virtanen, 5 for the comparative novice at 45.59. Samuelsson with the third. Well, Girard's found a new way of doing it, just dropping it onto the shoulder, then onto the wall. Now then, Samuelsson, the big test, the 5th stone. Coming up towards 40 seconds, the target is 43.13. I don't think he's going to do it. Oh my goodness, his back must be killing him. That's a terrible position to be in.
Push in.
A little push will do it. Girard is giving it a go as well. Come on, Magnus. Over 50 seconds, and that is only going to be good enough for 4th place. Samuelsson in a bit of bother with his back. His final is not going so well.
I thought they were going to get fifth one pretty quick first. I lost a few centimeters. So I had to fight it for 10-15 seconds, and so he got to me. But at least I gave him a fight.
And you had to put it on with your chin.
As they say, you know, what you don't have in muscles, you must use your head for instead.
Well, maybe his head's telling him the title is slipping away. Victory in the Atlas stones to Fekete, but sneaking up on the rails, Janne Virtanen of Finland. Oh, and by the way, English, no speak.
He's very happy because he's in top 3 in this moment, and he's happy.
Can you win?
What's the point,
No.
We understood that bit. Okay.
Well, he says he can't win, but look at him, just 4 points behind his fellow countryman Jouko Ahola, still very tight at the top after 4 events.
I could go into all the details about weighing 70 tons and carrying 148 passengers, but at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, these guys have got to pull a plane.
From Scotland, Jamie Barr.
What an enormous test for Jamie Barr. I think it's safe to say that this is one event none of these guys will have ever practiced before. Well, we've pulled some things in our time in World's Strongest Man, trucks and buses, as John was saying, but a plane, my goodness. 70 tons of steel. Well, there's been a bit of problem setting this event up in the first place, and one of the problems is keeping the plane straight. But Jamie Barr's off to a good start. As Jouko Ahola was saying too, one of the most experienced men at this sort of event. Stay low, take short steps, and keep the pressure on, and that's what Jamie's having to do here. The wheel must go over the white line. So just when you think you've finished, you've got to keep going for about another 5 or 6 meters. Jamie Barr, the pride of Scotland here in the World's Strongest Man final. A little disappointing so far, but this is the target that everybody else has to follow. Oh, he's got inches. He thinks he's finished, I think, but he's got to go over the line. One more pull, surely. 59.63. A shade inside 1 minute.
Talk us through it.
Talk you through it. From start, pain. In the middle, pain. 3/4 of the way, more pain. And the last, really painful. But I did it. I like this guy in the comp in under a minute. So it gives the fat boy something to chase, eh?
Chalk's out!
Well, I'm not going to comment on what Jamie just said there, but Torfi Olafsson, I think, has got a distinct advantage here. He weighs about 6 stones more than Jamie Barr. He's got lungs the size of a horse. Now then, what about the technique? He's an absolutely massive fella, Torfi Olafsson. He's taken over the mantle of Iceland's strongest man from some of their greats. Magnus Samuelsson, of course, won this many, many times. And Jean-Paul Sigmarsson. But here we have 26 stones of Torfi Olafsson. Not exactly thundering down the runway, but going well. 59.63 to beat. Only 5 meters to go. He's going to do it comfortably. A very, very good event, providing he keeps that plane going. This could be one of Olafsson's best events so far. 44.53. 14 seconds faster than Jamie Barr. Oh, absolutely phenomenal.
But Olafsson's time was then beaten by the Canadian Girard, 43.42, and that was just better than the Dutchman Veneberg, 44.56 for him.
Chalk's out!
Well, the next man to get ready for this is Svend Karlsen of Norway. In second place, behind Jouko Ahola, but 3 points adrift, and that's a lot to make up, despite the fact there's still 2 events to go after this. So just over 20 stones Svend Karlsen weighs, but that pales into insignificance compared with 70 tons. Well, 1 or 2 of the competitors so far have had trouble keeping this plane straight. That's largely due to the pilot in the cockpit. Karlsen trying to pull in a straight line. The plane is slightly offline, which is going to make it even more difficult for Karlsen. Karlsen chasing the time of Hugo Girard, 43.42. He's going to be pretty close. He's going to be very close. He's just got about a meter to go. Oh, it's just outside by about 0.3 of a second. Karlsen in second place, ahead of Olafsson, but still the big names to come. Magnus Samuelsson, I wonder how he's recovered from lifting those giant stones.
Trucks out. Are you ready?
And this is another event which is going to hurt the Swede's back. If he's got any weakness at all, it is in his back. Every other part of his body is gigantic and very strong, but he's off to a rocky start here. He was wobbling all over the place. He's got to try and stay on that white line. And with only 2 events to go now, if he is to defend his title successfully, he's got to make his move. It's almost got to be 3 wins out of 3 from now on. Tremendous applause for this guy, who's been working so hard this year to defend his title. At the moment, Jouko Ahola in pole position. Now, is it going to be quick? He's over 40 seconds. He's outside everybody else's time, just at 44.66. So still Hugo Girard in first place and Karlsen in second. But we've still got 2 competitors to come, 2 brilliant competitors, including the overall leader, Jouko Ahola.
You are always very tactical, and you know exactly what you have to do before an event. Given what Magnus has just done, what do you think you need to do now?
I have to be faster.
Trucks out.
A man of few words, but some brilliant actions throughout this final. He'll need every ounce of his 21-stone frame to pull this plane successfully. He's such a compact athlete. And actually, he's one of the best-looking athletes here. There's not an ounce of fat on him. He's all solid muscle. Well, he's got tremendous support, as you can hear. Trying to pull it straight, trying to stay low. Look at his arms. He looks as though he's got a couple of coconuts strapped to his arms there. His biceps are absolutely massive. 43.42 the target. Everybody's so close together in this event. It's fascinating. He'd love to beat Samuelsson too at 44.66. Samuelsson all guns blazing in the last 2 events, that's for sure. Oh, it's quick. It's just outside 40 seconds. 40.44. We've got a new leader. Jouko Ahola, the former champion. Well, he could be this year's champion if he keeps on going like this.
Thank you.
Janne Virtanen, Jouko Ahola's teammate from Finland.
Give him it up. Are you ready?
Yep. The last man to go. Well, in terms of reputation, he's always played second fiddle to Jouko Ahola. He's in awe of what Ahola has achieved in his long career in strongman events. Maybe this is one of a new breed coming out of Scandinavia. And goodness me, we've had some greats in the past. Virtanen charging on, trying to stay low. 2 events to go for this young fella, and anything could happen. It's been a great competition so far, and he's going very, very quickly. There's only 5 meters to go. He's well over the line. Can he break 40 seconds and challenge Ahola? Yes, he can. 39.48. I have to say that is a surprise. But it makes the battle, the overall battle for world's strongest man, terrific as we move into the last 2 events. A superb performance, and it's Finland 1 and 2.
I know you will say there are 2 events to go. Yeah. But that may be the pool that has won you the championship, do you think?
Maybe. If I don't do mistakes tomorrow, then this was great pool. But like you said, there is still 2 events.
Will you go to bed tonight dreaming of winning now?
Of course. Because after 98 competition, I was very disappointed, and Janne and I, we did so much work before this competition. And if I can win tomorrow, then I'm happiest man in the world. And also maybe strongest.
So Ahola with one hand on the trophy, despite coming second in the plane pool behind Virtanen. Girard taking third place, Karlsen fourth. And what it means is that Ahola has a 3-point cushion going into the last day's events. 2 more disciplines to come.
And so for the grand finale, we come to Fort St Elmo, scene of one of the most famous sieges in history when 40,000 Turks were held at bay for a month by the Knights of St John. They actually showered 7,000 cannonballs a day on this place. They've also filmed Midnight Express here, and now they're about to crown the world's strongest man. But before that happens, there's still 2 events to go, and the penultimate one is the log lift. This thing weighs 360 kilograms.
Well, Magnus Samuelsson may be about to relinquish his title, but he was determined to go out in style. 15 repetitions from the giant Swede.
That was a great effort. Yeah, you must be happy with that.
How can I say? During circumstances, going in the beginning and also feeling, to be honest, the spirit is gone as well. Pretty pleased. Wait till you see me when I'm fresh.
Well, somebody who was in great nick was Hugo Girard. He wasn't impressed by Samuelsson's 15.
12, lower please. 13. 14. 15.
17 repetitions from the Canadian, and that was a new world record.
So a good finish in the medley, and you could actually be quite high up the leaderboard.
Oh, like I told you before, nothing's over till the fat lady
does what she does.
Yeah.
The big 3 still to come. First Karlsen, then Ahola, finally Virtanen. How does Samuelsson assess the possible successors to his title?
Svend Karlsen, I think he can do well in especially this event because he's good pressure, really good shoulder power, and he's pretty quick as well. So I think he will chase Ahola for his money. But as I say, Ahola is a hard man to beat when he's smelling victory.
Take your position.
Well, realistically, if Karlsen is going to become champion, he's got to win this event and the next one as well. The rule's very strict here. You can't dip underneath it when you're pushing that log up, and you've got to push it out to arm's length. Karlsen at the moment, smooth, going well. He won the very first event in this final. He was equal first place with Jouko Ahola after event 2, but he's had 1 or 2 slip-ups since then. Oh, now then, number 8 was easy. Number 9 is becoming a problem. He dipped underneath that one. Dougie Edmonds says no. Oh, he's done it again, and that is the end for Svend Karlsen. He's only got 8. That's way, way off the pace set by Hugo Girard and Magnus Samuelsson. And I think Svend Karlsen's chances of becoming champion are finished. Jouko Ahola, wrists heavily strapped there. There's a huge strain on the wrist, the fingers, and of course the shoulders. The effective weight on the shoulders as they push this log up is about 120 kilos. Well, I suppose that equates to about the size of a big refrigerator full of your week's shopping. 17.5 stones.
Lift.
Here we go. Jouko Ahola knows precisely what he's got to do here.
3.
Beat 17, or beat Magnus Samuelsson's 15.
5.
And certainly finish no lower than 3rd place going into the last event. Jamie Barr, incidentally, he finished with 6 repetitions, so his first ever World's Strongest Man final has been a little disappointing, but he's still developing into a very fine competitor. Now then, Ahola going well on 12.
13.
Ooh, a little bit shaky on number 14, but Edmund says yes, and that is the end for the Finn. He thinks he's done enough. The overall leader finishes with 14. Not a spectacular performance, but he did just what was required.
14 repetitions.
Happy with that?
Yes, I'm happy. Maybe one more, but then I have to save my back. Maybe one more, but that was enough for me. I'm very happy.
So how many do you think Janne can do?
10.
Well, that was very specific, wasn't it? Janne Virtanen, a big test for this fella. And if he's got any chance of catching Jouko Ahola, he'd love to beat him by a couple of places in this event and not leave it all to chance in the medley in the final.
3.
So, what has he got to do? He's got to beat Samuelsson's 15 and preferably go for a new world record to beat Hugo Girard's 17. That would be an awesome performance by the Finn.
7. 8.
Just about halfway there to the grand total of 17. Oh, he's struggling all of a sudden. He's beaten Karlsen's 8 repetitions. Oh, well, Ahola's prediction of 10 was just about right. Can he get one more? No, he can't. And that means Jouko Ahola, with one event to go, has moved an extra point ahead of his teammate, Janne Virtanen.
So Girard may have won that ahead of Samuelsson, but the most significant performance from Ahola, 3rd place for him there, and he now has a 5-point cushion at the top. Does Virtanen still think he's got any chance?
Luuleeko se voittaa mut koko kisassa?
Ehkä.
Maybe.
And has Karlsen given up the ghost yet?
If I win it, maybe. If he has an accident or if he slips or whatever, anything can happen.
Jouko Ahola, the champion 2 years ago, defeated in a wonderful competition last year by the Swede Magnus Samuelsson, on the verge of becoming world's strongest man yet again. The first heat has already gone, but these 5 competitors are the ones that count. Hugo Girard, he's had a tremendous final. Svend Karlsen, I think a little bit too far off the pace to become champion. The former champion, Magnus Samuelsson, he'll be back bigger and stronger next year, as always. Janne Virtanen, an exciting prospect for the future. And Jouko Ahola, surely destined to lift the title for the 2nd time in his life. But as you heard Svend Karlsen say, anything can happen.
Take your grip.
Well, first of all, these 2 giant cylinders weighing 120 kilos each. Now, times don't really matter here. It's all about places. Oh, the strain on the shoulders, and Samuelsson wants to finish with a flourish. Virtanen is in contention too, so is Karlsen. Samuelsson in the lead. On the far side, Hugo Girard in the white top. Samuelsson's flying. That 300-kilogram tyre went so easily. Now 240 kilograms of chain and 110 kilos of anchor. Samuelsson, his reign as world's strongest man might be over. Oh, he's come to a grinding halt, and that means Karlsen will win the final event. He does it now. Ahola in 2nd place, and that means the Finnish champion. A little bit of glory for Svend Karlsen, but once again, for the 2nd time in his career, Jouko Ahola can call himself the world's strongest man.
You feeling good?
Yes, very good. I don't understand it yet, because it has been a very hard year. Because after 98 competition, I said, no, I'll be back and I will win all events, but actually I won only one. But it's okay, it's enough for me.
Does it feel better now than it did 2 years ago when you won for the first time?
Yes, much better, because my good friend Magnus Samuelsson, he said that you can win it once, but if you can do it twice, then you are a real champion, and I think I am now.
Well, Karlsen may have won the last battle, but the war was won by Jouko Ahola, crowned world's strongest man and 7 points clear of the rest of the field.
World's strongest man. He'll receive the Metrex trophy, Jouko Ahola of Finland.
So the strongest man in the world for the second time in 3 years. The runners-up spot to Janne Virtanen of Finland and Svend Karlsen of Norway in third place. Ahola receiving the trophy from Len Moskovich, President and Chief Executive Officer of Metrex USA. And so a very proud moment for the Finn, but he knows he's going to have to go some way to matching the achievements of one of his predecessors as world's strongest man, Magnus Samuelsson, champion 4 times in 6 years at the start of the 90s. But Ahola has time on his side.
So how much do you want to win it a third time in 4 years?
Of course I want to come back because I can't stop. This is so good and nice sport.
That's it from this year's World's Strongest Man. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the programmes. Who'll be the world's strongest man for the year 2000? We'll see you in 12 months' time. Who knows where in the world?